you can hear me well. Um, did you like the Balaji's talks? Like every time I hear him, I cannot get enough. It's been it's been always like a lot of new things that it's incredible the way he can like communicate these ideas. But today I want to talk about what it actually looks in the Network Schoool. Disclaimer: I'm not a part of the NS core team. I'm just a resident there. So I've been living there for the last over a year. And I want to share with you today, what's the actually reality of living in the Network Schoool near Malaysia. And I will try to cover, basic, information, data, how it kind of looks there, weekly, monthly loops, visas, and like what's life there like. So let's start with the actual location. I hope you can see it well. So sometimes you can hear it's like almost in Singapore, but like not really. It's like right at the border of Singapore, between Malaysia and Singapore, and there is this like beautiful artificially created piece of land, which is called Forest City. You might have seen a bunch of YouTube videos where a lot of YouTubers do a lot of content about it because it's like supposedly like the biggest ghost town ever in the history of humankind. It had like $100 billion budget. It's not fully finished yet because it's been kind of abandoned. But I can definitely say that like over the last year, you can definitely see the population there is like growing now. Because when I came there like April last year, you could not see any people on the beach. You could just see like literally like thousands of apartments that are very empty, and there are no people there, no people on the streets, no people on the beach, and no stores, or those that were there, they were primarily closed. And but nowadays it's changing. So this is how it looks. Anybody has been there already? Raise your hands if you have. Okay, I see a few faces that we met. Okay, so right now, what's the Network Schoool? Effectively, the Network Schoool like rented this whole hotel there, and there is currently like 400 people on the campus right now, and which includes also like 250 people who are like long-term residents. And so majority of the long-term residents are occupying some of these apartments in some of these like huge building blocks. So yeah, there's like 250 long-term people, and overall like roughly 400 550 people on campus in this big hotel here. So that's like the main venue, and as you can see, like all these places here are like completely empty, like all the villas there. So literally, I think 2 weeks ago, probably we saw like a first time there was like one of these villas lightened up at night. So I think there's maybe first person moving there. But you can like last week you could definitely see much more activity on the beach, and it's definitely getting more revived. And that's probably very much related to the like development of the mobility between the Singapore and Malaysia. Because this is actually like a common project of Singapore and Malaysia, like a special economic zone that is trying to sort of. It provides a bunch of tax benefits for family offices and so on. There's like some other parts of the zones where like provide benefits for some industries, manufacturing, and so on. And so usually it takes probably like an hour by taxi to get to the old town, midtown Singapore, and like 1.5 hours to the Singapore airport. And until very recently, until last week, basically, you couldn't order Grab. It was not allowed. But from last week, actually, you can. So that's like a very new thing that kind of makes the entry to transport to Singapore quite lower. You can take a bus. It costs like $5. Takes like 2 hours. And probably by the end of the year, you will be able to even take metro from Johor Bahru, which is like a pretty big city. It's the second largest city in Malaysia, 800,000 people. So even though we live sort of in an abandoned island, you can, if you really need, like better groceries, hospitals, any kinds of services, you just take a Grab and go like 20 minutes north, and you are pretty much in a big city, a lot of facilities and a lot of services and everything you basically want. So yeah, this is Forest City. So if you move in, this is what you get. This is like an average room in the hotel. So most of the people who kind of come there usually come for a month or two, and a bunch of them decide to actually stay long term. That was my case as well. Initially came there for 2 months last year, and then I was like, okay, it's really cool to hang out with Balaji. He talks a lot of smart things often, and it's cool to be around. And as you could see, like I think what he's saying really makes sense. Like starting new societies, it can be definitely interesting venture. And I think like lately the whole space has been gaining a lot of momentum, also because of Prospera. Anybody heard of Prospera as well? A few people. Cool. It's a special economic zone in Honduras. A great place. Probably going to be booming in the next few years because of the changes in the government in Honduras lately. But yeah, so this is what you get when you move in. And here are some basic stats. So Network Schoool actually launched in September 2024. It was like a trial V1 period for like 3 months. There were like, I think, first 100 people. I couldn't make it then, so I make it to the V2, which started in March 2025. And that's basically when all the people like started to kind of also move in permanently. And yeah, I was right in Prospera when I saw the Balaji's tweet about, hey, we are starting the V2, everybody should come. So next day I was booking the flights to Singapore, and yeah, was very curious to check it out. And as you can see, it's definitely an interesting place, really charming place. Lots of different and interesting things happening there. And right now, I told the numbers. What is interesting, many people don't usually expect families in these kind of places, but actually Balaji and his co-founder Donovan, they are really trying to make it like a family-friendly place as well. So if you have, right now there are like 20 kids on campus, sort of permanently. I think the number grew in the last 2-3 months, like quite a lot. I think still by the end of last year, it was like not so great. There were like just a few kids. Balaji himself has like 5 kids, and Donovan has 3 kids, and like so there are like more people now bringing actually their families. So there is a daycare there for kids as well. On the island directly, there is also like a school, and so there are, and obviously if you want to have like a better international school, it's like not too far either. So it's just like 20 minutes by taxi. And so yeah, family friendly. There are increasingly more things that are making it like more welcoming for families. If you come there with family, you can actually also get, even on short term, you can actually get the apartments in some of these buildings that were shown in the picture before. Right now, there is roughly 75% male to female ratio. So this is something that the Network Schoool is trying to improve. But larger is still like a tech bro kind of community, but hopefully we can improve on that soon. And there have been some measures done recently that kind of, I think, improve it. Like ladies got their own lounge, and they got their own sauna, so they kind of feel more safe, and they have like their own spaces for themselves. So that's been like development on the last few weeks and months. Yeah, I think Balaji mentioned some like key numbers, because a lot of people ask me like how much it costs to live there. So as you could hear, it's like $1,500 a month if you want to share the room with someone, and it's $3K if you want to have it on your own. And this includes basically all the meals. Balaji likes to call it, like Brian Johnson as a service, because you get like all the blueprint, kosher, very nutrition-wise rich food that is provided to you like whole day. It's very streamlined, no logistics. You don't have to think about anything. And if you sign up long-term, there are some extra perks that I will mention later that are related to this. So you have included meals, you have included co-work. It's like 10 minutes walk from the Network Schoool, so it's pretty easy walk. And I think from next month there will be like a new co-work opened right next to the hotel, so it's gonna be even closer. I will share like a few pictures like right behind the slides. And there's a lot of events happening every day, literally from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. You have jiu-jitsu, salsa, briefing, yoga, all kinds of things. So basically everybody can find whatever kind of hobby they like. You can also organize it yourself. Like a lot of these events are like community driven. So basically, if you have a cohort when people who come in, they are into BJJ, they do lots of BJJ events. So, and pretty much when you ask Network Schoool to provide any kind of like equipment or something like that, usually they really are responsive and like they will get it for us. So last year we were asking for sauna, so they got us sauna. We had to build it ourselves, but like it was worth it. And so yeah, they're pretty responsible and they're trying to accommodate all kinds of needs from the community. What Balaji didn't mention is that actually obviously it's a great place for builders, and Balaji is providing a bunch of like funding also for people who want to boost like a pre-seed stage in their companies and want to come, and he's providing fellowships, which means he gives you like some 100K for a piece of equity in your company, and so a bunch of people are receiving that. And what is interesting as well is that there are a bunch of L2s being now like built in Network Schoool. One of them is like ARC, which is like a charter city project that is actually also opening right now. I think it's already public, like a new accelerator there. So it's another kind of layer 2 opt-in thing that when you move into Network Schoool, you can be part of that. You can get some additional funding there from a bunch of VCs that are in the network. And they have also their separate co-work, and also pretty interesting group of people. Great funding opportunities, and yeah, hopefully also soon also like a new city that they want to build. If you have read Balaji's blogs, you might have encountered this this metric, and I think it pretty much like well summarizes like where we want to go with Network Schoool. And obviously, so we are now in the V2, which is basically hundreds of people that are kind of permanently based there for few months, most of them, but like some of us like already for a year. The goal, I know Balaji wants to like push this up and like scale probably like to like 1,000 people by end of this year who live there permanently. And once we get to the 1,000, it's very feasible that we can get to 10,000 as well, and that's when we can get actually more also like a political leverage when negotiating either with Malaysia, Singapore, or also other countries. So I know it's like there will be more nodes. Network Schoool is like kind of first node in Malaysia, but like there will be more nodes popping up in the future in different countries. We don't know where yet, but it will be announced at some point. So yeah, I think that this is pretty cool. One of the main motto of Network Schoool is like earn, learn, and burn. And recently they added fun. So it's a nice way also to kind of earn some money if you are a builder. There's like oftentimes like a bunch of tasks that they're put in place, and they place some bounties on top, so you can see like it's like around like $1,000 for some of the bounties, and people can freely submit their work, and it will be evaluated, and the reward will be split to like top 3 people. And it's not always like the coding; it's sometimes the content production or like even some community stuff. Lots of people build like lots of different community tools to make the life at NS easier, and obviously also that some of this tooling can be used by other communities and pop-up cities elsewhere. So this is like a library that is in the hotel. This is the co-working space. It accommodates like probably like 200 people right now, so it's pretty big, and yeah, like a lot of the events are happening in this library here. Yeah, a lot of lectures. And obviously, if you're coming there with a team, there are opportunities to rent your own office and have your own space for a month, or even just like for a few days if you want. So they're trying to build more spaces that can accommodate like larger teams as well. This is like I think this is much cooler with audio. So just imagine some up-tempo music with this, but it's a really well-made video, I think capturing the essence and the vibe in Network Schoool. So obviously burn your calories is like a very much like a focus and emphasize in the community. So you have basically 3 times a day you have a gym session with a coach, with a military coach that guides you. And obviously, the gym is 24/7, so you can go on your own. But like, if you want to have supervision and a coach, you can just do it 3 times a day. So the gym is pretty cool. They built it from scratch. It's pretty big. It accommodates a lot of people. A lot of fun stuff are happening there. This is a glimpse from yesterday's agenda. So you can just see like what kind of stuff are being done there by the community. Like coffee brewing workshops, VO2 max testing, and morning pages. People just come together, write their diaries, and so on. So a lot of different things. These just like some personal pictures from like how it looks there. People are doing a lot of tea ceremonies and like funky stuff. This is like the beach by the hotel. So it's actually not many people swim in there. For a long time there was a sign that there are crocodiles in there. They removed it recently, so I guess they are not there anymore. I heard they are like further to the north, so not here. So there's a pretty good chance that you are not get eaten if you swim. But like usually no one tries. But yeah, so this is you can see Singapore port here. So yeah, it's like literally like 1 kilometer from Singapore. So you could swim over, but you would probably get arrested. But like what they're trying to get an arrangement with Singapore now is that like pretty soon, hopefully, we will be able to get a boat from here to the border of Singapore and to the old town. So that should happen in the next few months, supposedly. So let's see how about that. This is like a breakfast area. The hotel is pretty impressive. This is the pool area. Heavily underutilized. Not many people actually spend time in the pool. They usually hustle. And yeah, so but it's pretty amazing. One of my most favorite spots there. Obviously, oftentimes you have like all kinds of really cool and stellar speakers. And, Vitalik stops by once in a while. Base just opened their office there. There are a lot of community events on the 13th floor. There's like a bunch of these kind of rooms, like we call them VIP rooms. They're initially made for karaoke, but now they are used for all kinds of stuff. Sometimes we are raving there. So we have one DJ here, Red Bullock, who's raving there last few weeks. It's very intense in terms of like hackathons. Basically, every week you have some kind of hackathons. There were the most famously like web coding hackathons, where you had to do like a lot of physical exercises while web coding. These are pretty wild events, but they're like it's basically almost every week right now. So there's like a lot to do. Recently, there was this new tradition of like NS fairs, where all kinds of like layer 2 projects or like initiatives, just like community initiatives in network schools are being presented. As you can see, there's like sport, like sport group, longevity group is going pretty strong recently. So if you are into longevity, you can lately also experiment with peptides and like all kinds of stuff. So they took one of the pods in the cafe, and there was red light now. So you can, buy an additional membership and have a red light therapy every day and these kind of things, and like blood testing, and so it's there's just streamlined for people these kind of stuff and services. So it's pretty cool. As I said, families are very welcome and in greater numbers increasingly. So there's a lot of also like music events. This is Omega. She's a music teacher. She teaching a lot of people how to do music and sing, but also like how to speak publicly as well. So there are like lots of these kind of initiatives there, and monthly and weekly loops. So every time basically there is like a biorhythm of the whole place. The people usually come on the 1st of the month, always like 1st of May, April, June, and so there's like a lot of things aimed at these people who are just coming. Like orientation, sessions. Pictures and showing around, and like there like a lot of people go through some like it's not compulsory, but there's like a psychology assessment test, so we know like what kind of people are in the place, and like this it's from Ray Dalio, one of the personality typology tests. So yeah, A lot of other events happening there basically on a weekly basis. You know, Claude, Anthropic recently did an event there. Zcash hosted a residency. Ethereum hosted a residency. Right now, these days, there is like a robotics track demo day there. Yeah. Oh, this video doesn't work. Okay, good. I don't have much time anyway, so it should be fine. Yeah, lots of robots around, especially lately. And lots of sporting events. Basically, every month there is like NS Cup, where people just come together and do like tournaments in different sports: football, volleyball, pickleball, tennis, ping pong, everything. So it's this is Veronica. Yeah. And of course, you can hang out with Balaji. You have like a weekly sessions with him on different stuff, like where he talks about updates about Network Schoool or other notes or whatever is going on. And maybe the last thing, if you're becoming long-termer, there are some additional benefits. You get your own apartment. You get some more visa support, even though Malaysia is pretty immigration-friendly. You can be part of like burn transformation, which means that they cook exactly your meals, and they count the calories. They give you the boxes, so you don't have to care about anything, and you just like get it, and like you have exactly what you need, nutrition-wise. Recently, there was a Ministry of Economy in visiting Network Schoool, so it's getting like a lot of attention now from the government as well. And yeah, ladies lounge. Recently, we upped our security, so right now, if you want to access certain areas, you have to tap a card. And okay, another video that doesn't work. Okay, never mind. And yeah, that's all from me, guys. If you scan this link, you get 1 week for free there. And yeah, if you want to follow, I post about this, my life there. You can follow us on X and Instagram. And yeah, thank you, and I'm happy to take some questions.